And hello, everyone. This is the VZWBuzz recap, a live summary of the chat, the most important things that we shared with you during the chat. And the way this works is for everyone watching, we actually went a little crazy today, and we have 3 prizes. We're going to give away a Kyocera Hydro Elite smartphone. This device actually is waterproof. I know RJ Frasca from the team put it underwater in a tank and then dialed it, and it rang perfectly. So it's a great phone. Then we're also going to give away an LG Tone headset. I'm going to show you mine. They're currently being borrowed by my jogging daughter. They are so good that everybody wants to use them. And then we're also going to give away a Fitbit, because I know so many of you during the chat wanted to win a Fitbit. The way you're going to win one of these 3 prizes today is by posting your questions right here on Twitter on the VZWBuzz hashtag. So Misty's going to pick up the best question we're going to answer and try to answer all of them. But if we miss a couple, we will get back to you. You will get an answer to your tweet within the next couple of days at the latest. Okay? So I'm going to introduce my guest. I'm very fortunate to have Marty McPadden here with us. Hi, Marty.
Hello. How are you?
It's great to see you. I know it's a Friday work day for you.
Mm-hmm.
So glad you can join us every so often when you can stay, when you can be at the studio with us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
We were going to have Robin join us. She's at her lake house, and she has a device that sadly is not supported by Google Hangouts, so that's why she couldn't join us today. But we're going to get her next time. Okay, sorry my phone's buzzing. We were going to show you quickly how you actually can create a hotspot on your phone. And I'm going to actually use, I have 3 different devices here. Recently, one of my favorites is this Nokia icon. Don't you think it's beautiful? Can everyone see it? It's really probably the most appealing of all of the phones that I have ever used. And if you, well, all you have to do is go to Settings, which I'm going to do here. And I was telling Marty that I actually need my glasses to be able to see better. You click on Settings, and it'll give you an option just to activate your hotspot, and that's all you have to do. I'm going to actually do the demo as soon as I get my glasses on. Hold on a second. Marty, you use your hotspot on your devices too, right? You have an icon?
Yes, I do. I have an icon. I think we got all kinds. And I use the hotspot on all the devices there, and it's great. It works very well. Just a selection in the settings, and you're ready to rock, and you can pair up other devices. I have an iPad, and I have other tablets, so I can pair it up, and it's fantastic. It's one device, and you're ready to rock.
Yeah, in this particular Windows phone, you look for Settings. It's always going to be under Settings, and you actually look for Internet sharing. And in this case, it's off, but you can turn it right on. And then it'll give you your own personal code, which is what you can enter on your device that you're trying to connect with, say your laptop or your tablet, potentially. So that's all you have to do on a Windows phone. Very easy. On the Samsung Galaxy, or on any Samsung device, actually, they all function pretty much the same. All you have to do is you scroll down, and you will see a way to connect right here, or the other easiest way to do it is to go to Settings. And this I do so often that I can find it right away. You go to Settings. This one, I was actually playing around with my with my settings in my ultra saving mode. But you go to, you can go to Wi-Fi, you can go to Bluetooth. They're all right here in your device. And when you enable it, you should know that your data will be consumed. So you will actually be using data from your devices when you connect your hotspot. But basically, it's a very private network for you to access the internet and the services that you want to access. You can go on Twitter and Facebook, but you can also do some banking if you have an emergency banking. This is a very safe way to get on the internet in a remote location, away from your home or away from your office, depending on where you are. And the same is also true for the iPhone. You go to Settings, And you're going to find here under settings the ability. It's right off the bat. It says personal hotspot, and all you have to do is enable it, and that's automatically going to give you a password, just like all the other devices. So it's really important for you to know, and as Robin is pointing out, by the way, on your device, settings is usually the icon of a little gear, and that's where you're going to find a lot of the options that you want to use to customize your phone. So that was actually what we wanted to share with you as far as your mobile hotspot. There was a lot of questions during the chat, so we wanted to clarify that one. But I want to move on to quickly on Marty, and what are your favorite connected devices? What are the ones you use the most?
Well, I actually brought a couple for show and tell here. Probably one of my favorites right now is a little device I have here. I'm holding up to the camera. It's a Bluetooth earpiece from Jawbone. And reason why I like this is it's got great noise canceling. So I use it in the car when I'm traveling alone. And if I get a phone call, the quality on this thing is fantastic because you don't have to worry about wind noise or any other interference. So it's very good in that respect. It's very small, fits on your ear, and it connects easily to any device. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. And the other device I just love, and I use this primarily in my home, is the Bose Bluetooth speaker. I think you got a good shot of it there. Very small. You can see it fits right in the palm of my hand. And it's got great sound. I mean, for those of you familiar with Bose, they make tremendous speakers. They got a heritage in that. And they make I have another Bose Bluetooth speaker, a little larger one, but I really love this one. The size is fantastic. It's nice and small, very portable, connects very easily, any device. And I used it primarily with my phone and with my tablet. I listen to a lot of podcasts and music, and it's fantastic for that. And you can take it anywhere you want. So those are two devices I use a lot.
Marty, someone's asking if you can hear music through it. You can't, right? Or you can?
Through the headset. The headset, absolutely. This, okay. Yes, this is Bluetooth. I forget the profile number, but Bluetooth that allows music. In fact, I listen to podcasts through this in the car if I'm not getting phone calls, and it's fantastic for that. So anything playing over your phone, you can listen as well. It works just like a regular earphone.
Okay, so you know, just like you would talk, or you can listen to, you know, your music, your podcast, your content.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. We always like to clarify the difference between Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You hear us talk about Wi-Fi is the ability of a device. It's the technology that enables a device to connect to the internet. That's Wi-Fi. Bluetooth is the technology that enables a device to connect with another device. So Bluetooth is device to device, and Wi-Fi is device to internet. So for those of you that may have not known that, now you can go and share that with your children.
and the other thing I like to add, Monica, is Wi-Fi is usually also, you know, like you said, to the internet, usually with a router. It's also longer distance normally. Mm-hmm. Bluetooth has I think it's, I want to say 40 or 50 feet in that range as far as the distance that you can connect, and it is device to device as well. And I know on my hotspot on my phone, it gives you the option to use either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi for connections. So there is some overlap there, but distance has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, and but I think it's important to know that when we talk about Bluetooth, it doesn't mean that my Bose, which I want to show off that I have one too, doesn't mean that it's connected to the internet. It just means that it's connected to another device.
Correct.
And it's important to know the difference. In that case, you're not using data. Obviously, when you enable hotspot or when you're accessing the internet through your device, you're using your data. This is why it's so great that you have both on your device. So all of your smartphones are going to have the ability to connect you either via cellular network or via Wi-Fi. And what's cool about most devices is that when you reach a Wi-Fi, say when you get home, and if you're streaming or if you're downloading, it immediately switches to Wi-Fi so you don't use your data. And that's how we can also help you save some money, right? You don't want to be downloading stuff when you have access to a Wi-Fi via your data service.
Yeah, I think what you said, Monica, before about the security aspects, certainly like to reiterate that. You mentioned about doing banking. I know people hang out in coffee shops, Starbucks, McDonald's. A lot of places have public Wi-Fi. And if you're not doing anything that you don't mind other people seeing because it is out in the open, that's okay. But what's great about the hotspot, like you said, is it is secure, you know, and you have that secure connection. And I think as long as you're, you know, certainly I think people with their plans, either unlimited or with a defined amount of data that you can use. Most people have at least 2 gigabytes, and for most people, I think that's 2 or 3 gigabytes. And most people, that's plenty. As long as you're not, if you're streaming video a lot or streaming audio, the streaming part, I think that's something that you may have to watch as far as the usage goes. Yeah. Verizon, I know, has a great, in fact, I have it on my phone, great app that you can check your usage on the spot as far as where you're at. Mm-hmm. I think it's my Verizon app.
Yeah, in my Verizon you can see where you're at. Mm-hmm.
In fact, Misty and I have been traveling lately, and we've had to use our hotspot a lot. And I'll tell you, the Verizon LTE, fantastic. It saves us a lot, and we're able to keep track of our usage. And we have a 10 gigabyte plan, so we have a pretty large plan. We use a lot of data, but we're still able to keep track of that. So when we're coming to the end of the month, we know exactly where we stand. So it's very handy.
Yeah, just a clarification, Julie Fields is asking, no, you do use data, at least I do at home. If your device can, in fact, use Wi-Fi and you have a Wi-Fi at home, you can actually set it up so that it'll switch to that and you won't use your data. So usually, depending on the device that you have, that would be your choice. And but anyway, great questions. Thanks so much. I know Misty's scrambling to get us 3 winners out of your wonderful questions, and we appreciate it. The other thing that's important, we talked a little bit about connecting, disconnecting, right? Obviously, the VZWBuzz chat sponsored by Verizon, we love the fact that our sponsor enables us to be connected, but how important is it, Marty, to you, for example, to disconnect, and how do you do it? What's your discipline?
Sometimes it's a little difficult to disconnect. I'm so wired in all the time, and our business relies on us being connected. But I think, you know, I know on my phone it has and I think on most of the platforms it has a do not disturb feature. I know on the iPhone it has a do not disturb. You know, it's the same on the other platforms. And I think you just have to force yourself. One suggestion I would have, and I'm guilty of it, so I'm not necessarily walking the talk here, but it works for a lot of people. You know, don't sleep with your smartphone right next to you, because usually that's the first thing that you reach for. So you might want to put it in another room or put it across, and then maybe at least you have some disconnection there on a nightly basis. And again, it's important to get out there and you know, just force yourself to kind of disconnect and
yeah, it's a hard exercise.
Yeah, Misty had another suggestion, which is great. When you're talking to someone face to face, don't do this. Don't
isn't it awful?
Texting, right? I mean, turn it off. Pay attention to the person right in front of you. Still, you know, face-to-face relationships is everything. Technology's great, but you still want to make sure that you're fully engaged if you're meeting someone face-to-face.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You know, I speak about online safety in schools. Anybody that will have me, I'll be there. And just last week, when I was on spring break with my daughter in LA, I was able to attend a chat given by an expert in that local community. And I learned that when you sleep with your phone next to you, when you sleep with a smartphone next to you, evidently there's an incredible amount of loss of melatonin. And so your sleep, by definition, is lighter if you have your phone right in your nightstand. And so I'm going to dig up that research again. I just heard that, and she is somebody that the FBI uses to talk internally, as well as, you know, she goes around the schools and parents. So it's so important if we ask our children not to sleep with their smartphones, because it's so difficult for them not to play with them, and then the subsequent loss of sleep. I think it's equally important that we try to do the same, so it's great advice. For health reasons, actually, it's not even a discipline of disconnecting, it's your own health you want to take care of.
And also, you know, like we mentioned, when you're preparing to go to sleep, I mean, it does take you a little while to kind of get in that zone and kind of calm down from the day. And you don't want to be having your smartphone right there and you're texting, or you're reading, and and right before you go to sleep, because it's not going to be a very good sleep, you know. So you want to put that away and give yourself hour of that time to kind of wind down. And same thing in the morning. I mean, I don't think the first thing you should be looking at is your cell phone. I'm guilty sometimes of that, but I mean, I think that you want to kind of wind down and then kind of wind up a little bit, and I think I think you're going to be more productive that way as well.
Yeah, that's so funny. There's a great question from Ashley. Can you store apps on the cloud? And I don't think you can store your apps on the cloud, but once you pay for them, either on Google Play or on the iTunes Store, I know, and as well on the Windows Store, that you can download it to any device. You can uninstall and then install again. You won't have to pay for them again if you paid for them once. Marty, is that also your understanding? I just wanted to be able to answer that question. I know Robin is our Windows expert, but what do you know about that? Storing apps on the cloud.
I know that I think on all the platforms, it's once you pay for it, it's available to you to download. I'm one to, you know, get a lot of apps, buy a lot of apps. I delete, I add back. So, you know, I have a lot of apps that I bought, and maybe I delete it and I add it back. Also, the settings for your apps, if you're using an app and it involves settings, I know on the iOS platform, it'll store your settings on iCloud. You have that option. I'm sure it's the same on the Android and Windows as well. So the settings are the things I think that get synced. The apps themselves, they don't necessarily get stored on your personal cloud, but they're available to you from your supplier, whether that's iOS or Android or Windows.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask Misty to give us some winners. Somebody's going to win a Fitbit to help you get healthy and track your steps, and
should be sending those over momentarily.
Track your sleep. I have used the Jawbone. It's been really amazing, and I know Samsung came out with a brand new device. I believe it's called the Gear Fit. And one quick point from Robin, I don't want to forget to share with you guys, is that on Samsung devices, the Do Not Disturb feature, it's actually called blocking mode. And so it's slight variation on names of the various devices, but they all give you the ability to just put it away, maybe even set it aside on a separate room in the house. And as a parent, I can tell you that at the beginning you can get a little resistance, but kids actually do want to leave their smartphones aside when they come together for either a sleepover or party or something. And so encourage that. You know, go around with the basket and get them all to put the phones in the basket and put them away. And also, you can also have a do not post policy at the parties at your house, which actually helps kids that are not invited not to feel left out, right? So these are two good tips on how to help your kids disconnect, not only when they're on their own, but also when they're with their friends, which is a great thing to be doing, right? When they're together live with their friends, just do not post policy, guys, and keep your phones here on the basket while you're connecting live. So
those are great suggestions. I think Missy just messaged those winners over to
you. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so the winner of our LG Tone headset, these are incredible. You just plug in the buds, and that's it. Connects to your device. There's no cables. It's great to work out. I know Joyce Charrier always says that she works out with those. Is One Sweet Family. So congratulations to One Sweet Family. April, I believe, is your name for winning that. And the Fitbit, we're going to give away to Spunk and Spice.
I like that handle.
I love the Spunk and Spice. You mean I might actually be able to hear someone on the phone over the sound of the kids in the car? That was great. That was a great question. And the answer was yes. So that's so important. We have one more winner, which is the winner of the Kyocera Hydro Elite, which is right here. and we're going to ship it to you on Monday. So you should expect that next week. And the winner of that is Marley Kristen. So congratulations to Marley Kristen. Your question was, are there any apps to keep my devices clutter-free? There are so many apps and storage is full. Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, I found by go to your carrier store. I went to our local Verizon store, and they were really able to help me with my device, keeping it clean. I was able to get rid of some of the screens that I wasn't using, and that's actually something very personal, and you should get one-on-one help with that. Marty, how do you keep your phone clutter-free?
You know, two ways. One, use folders. I think all the major platforms, there's some type of folder structure. I know on iOS, they folders, Android, same thing. So group them by type of app. So if travel apps going, I have on mine, you know, like travel apps and cloud apps, and, you know, by type of app. And number two, do a little test for yourself. If you haven't accessed an app in, say, you know, a month, you probably should delete it. You can always get it back. You know, it's right there in the store that you bought it from. You can always re-download it. But I go through and do kind of a sweep and get rid of things. I'm down to 2 screens myself. I use a lot of folders, and I keep it. Yeah, and I keep it. You know, and for me, I think I must have 500-600 apps that I bought in my lifetime so far, or you know, downloaded or have in my locker, my online locker. But yeah, I try to keep things organized in that way. So those are 2 suggestions.
Yeah, and one more clarification on apps on the clouds from Robin. I always love having her on these recaps. She's just full of information. Office 365, for example, is available offline and in the cloud. So you don't have to store that very big program locally on either a tablet or your phone. And so that's really important. And really, when you have any question at all, you can also go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/theonlinemom, and you can post any questions. We answer those within less than 24 hours. So feel free to pop in and share your questions there. And for now, thank you, Marty. And
thank you.
Misty, our producer, without whom we couldn't do any of this. So I'm so grateful, Misty. Thank you. Our team, Jean, Geek Babe, Robin's World. We gave the tech dad the day off. He's out playing golf. So one day he gets a year. We thought it was nice and sunny, so we said, okay, you can go. And have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.